Welcome to Free State Central News. My name is Tim Masemola. Today we are going to be talking to the newly elected Chairperson of Fezile Dabi, Victoria Dabi. Welcome to Free State Central News.
Thank you very much, Timo.
You're the first woman to lead the region. How does that make you feel?
It's an overwhelming feeling, and it also brings a lot of expectations that people will have in terms of my leadership as the female, or as the first female regional chairperson of this region. But I'm looking forward to the task ahead. Thank you.
Yes, we know that it's only been a few days, but one can maybe not hold it to say to you. Any major priorities that maybe you think it should be the starting point?
Currently, our focus that we're focusing on is the general elections that are coming up, and also one of our priorities that we think it's very major is the issue of the state of local government.
Okay. When you say state of the nation of the local government, somebody might say you're not saying anything.
Okay, when I speak about the state of local government, for instance, you know that I'm also a mayor at a municipality, and there are issues of service delivery that we need to deal with. There's few municipalities. We've got a municipality that's in coalition. We've got one municipality in Kaka that's a hang municipality, and then we've got Mafuwe municipality that also has issues of service delivery, but also it's economically constrained. So those are the issues in terms of the state of local government.
Yes. Let's come to, or maybe go back to the issue of the ANC branches. People are saying the ANC branches are dead. What are you, maybe as the new leadership, are you going to do in terms of making sure that you resuscitate the state that the ANC branches are on? People are saying you only exist during conferences, and then from there you are
we accept that the perception has been created that the ANC only exists for the purpose of conferences, but this new leadership would want to go back to making sure that we do have structures of the ANC that are functional, that would be handling the constitutional obligations. And when I say the constitutional obligations, is to ensure that our structures do have their BGMs, because BGMs is not only for the purpose of having to deal with conferences, but also to inform the general membership on the decisions and the progress that the ANC has made so far. So we need to go back to basics and ensure that we have our BGMs, and we also have public participation or community meetings of the ANC in terms of the branches, so that it is not only from a governmental point of view, but also the ANC having its own community meetings, and that's where we will have to go back. And I believe that there will definitely be an increase, and it will also show that the ANC is not just there for the purpose of conferences.
Yes, but with the disunity at the present moment, people are saying you can say a lot of things. It's visible. It is an open secret that ANC members, they are at the point whereby some are so defiant publicly. Do you have strategies maybe in terms of how are we going to do it at the same time with the current situation? How are you going to make sure that you maneuver within that?
Okay, the first point of reference is when we were at the conference and we closed the conference, we spoke about unity. And we spoke about the fact that even though we were contesting each other, it ends there. There's leadership that has been elected. And if you have noticed, is that this is one of the conferences in the Free State in particular that did not have issues. There was discipline. So we believe strongly that we can actually unite this region. Yes, there are elements of people that are negative, but I always believe that you first pursue the route of unity, and it must not be a cosmetic unity, because cosmetic unity is dangerous, and it's where the state of the ANC is, because we unite for that moment, yet we know that our hearts are not there. Firstly, the type of membership that we will be recruiting and bringing into the organization is very important. We need to recruit people that will abide to the objectives of the African National Congress. And secondly, how we're going to make sure that people understand what the ANC is all about. and this new membership is to really start doing the political education and not just preach about political education, but have political education from a branch level, because your membership is at the branch. And people will then have to understand what the ANC is. And all the ones that does not want to form part, and where I'm in agreement with the Secretary General to say that the unity that we are bringing is not a cosmetic one, but it's a genuine and original unity. And the ones that does not want to be part of this unity would have to excuse us from the organization.
But do you think the ANC presently, does it have the relevant quality to deal with what is happening now? Looking at these protests that are happening throughout our district?
The ANC does have the quality to handle the situations that we are having. The quality is there within the movement, and it's just that it has been overlooked. But this new leadership that has been elected has shown that the branches have spoken, and for the first time in a decade, branches were able to express their own opinion as to what type of leadership do they want, and that shows that there is quality within the ANC to be able to handle the situations that are there.
Would you say previously they never had that, maybe that, I want to put it like nicely, they were forced to support a certain individual? Because all of you now are saying for the first time in a decade, members of the ANC were here to elect their preferred candidate.
Most of the time when the reason why we are saying that is because now branches have spoken themselves, and there was no influence even from the side of the people that were contesting. It was a free and fair contestation where everyone was participating in the role. So that's why we are saying, it's for after a decade, it is actually happening.
Your opinion about service delivery within the district?
My opinion around service delivery within the district, I, for one, now as the new leadership, believe that we need to bring our administration on board. The administration that's supposed to implement service delivery needs to be brought on board, and as the ANC, we really need to start taking action. Because if you are leading government, you have a manifesto that you have and you need to implement it. And if your administration is not going to understand what your manifesto says, then you will start seeing all the service delivery issues, because the manifesto of the ANC is clear. It's a guiding document in terms of what we must do. And then in terms of government, you've got your IDP. And most of the time, the IDP is linked to the issues that we have raised in the manifesto. So administration just needs to implement our IDPs.
Do you sometimes sit down and acknowledge that as leadership, maybe we have failed the people of Fezile Dabi, looking at the current state of roads, infrastructure within the district, as the ANC?
As the ANC, we accept that there might have been challenges within our communities, like you're indicating the state of our roads, and it is not only the state of our roads, the issues of sanitation, issues of water. We've got a clear program. I believe where the ANC, maybe what we have done, hence I'm saying that the ANC branches must start having community meetings, is to explain some of the challenges to the community. For instance, when we speak about water, yes, we're supposed to give our people water, but we must not factor out issues of climate change. And if your community does not know what climate change is, it's going to be a problem, because they will not understand. So we must consistently give education, and the ANC, where we have failed or where it seems like things are not happening in accordance to what we believe as an organization, we must accept and apologize to our communities.
Okay. Chair, looking at this performance, is it a question of skill or maybe lack of political will?
For instance, there are areas where there would be a lack of necessary skill and it might seem as if there is a lack of political will. That's why, as this new leadership, we want to bring the two together and club them together and say, if the political will is not there, then how do we bring in those ones that would want to ensure that we give our people services? If there's a need for us to have proper skills audit so that we get the necessary skill, then let it be. We must do it. We must not just say we're going to do a skills audit and it does not happen. This leadership is a leadership of action, and all those things are going to happen. Where there's no political will, we will enforce that political will should be there. Where there's no skills, we'll ensure that the necessary skills are placed there, because if we're not going to do that, the ANC will be perceived as an organization that does not care about society.
In Fezile Dabi, we don't even have a single municipality in terms of finances that has clean audit. What are you saying as the ANC?
As the ANC, what we are indicating is that we will have to go back and, one, do you have the relevant people there? Secondary, do you get all the necessary documentation that you have to give to Auditors General? So is there correct paper trail? And if those things are not there within an institution, then we would have to ensure and make sure that we get and upskill everyone so that we can understand. But I must indicate that even though there is no clean audits that has been received, for one, we must applaud Mafube, because Mafube has been moving from disclaimer for all these years, and they have managed to now go to qualified, close to and unqualified. Most of our municipalities are unqualified, and you find that the issues that has been raised might be 2 or 3 reasons why we cannot get those clean audits. So in terms of that, it's just for us to upskill where necessary and ensure that our municipalities perform.
As the ANC, are you worried about corruption? Because everybody's talking about it. And do you have strategies in place on how are you going to deal with it?
Definitely, as this new organization, we are bind ourselves to the resolutions of the 52 conference of the ANC, where we spoke loudly about the issues of corruption, because the ANC is perceived as this corrupt organization, whereas it might be individuals within the organization. And now we would have to deal with such elements, and we still bind ourselves on the issue of the step-aside resolution if wherever a person has been found or charged pertaining to issues of corruption and maladministration in our institutions.
As the newly elected leadership, would you support, if somebody maybe might raise the question of lifestyle audit, would you support it?
Definitely. As the new leadership, we would want to go for that. It's our resolutions, and resolutions needs to be implemented. So to look at the lifestyle audit is something that we can go for, so that we can put out there to the communities and show that in the ANC there are people that are living and ensuring that their expectations are achieved, so that it is not perceived that everyone in the organization is corrupt. So I do not have a problem with lifestyle audits.
Coming from the conference, people are saying a lot of things, and one of them is that, but before we get to that point, what's your take about money being used to win conferences?
In our guidelines, it has been clear that the issues of vote buying should not be there, and I'm fully in an agreement about that. To buy a vote, and if there were people that were using money to buy a certain vote, then I'm glad that the delegates or those ones that were participating in this conference were able to make their own decisions.
There was also an allegation that you did the same thing. 2 million rands was spent for you to be able to win a conference.
Yeah, I've seen that going around, and I always say to myself that if you are going to make such an allegation, then why don't you go to the proper channels so that you can show if such has happened.
Okay, Chairman, thank you very much for your time. I hope this was not the last time we talked to you.
No, thank you very much. Definitely not the last time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.